You're listening to the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
Really looking forward to it. We've had a lot of great opportunities with ICW. All those guys are great, and really looking forward to this show, meeting Hoovy. So.
Well, Zane, sorry for the little bit of slow introduction.
Somebody say something about it. Rick Craig on this line.
That's what I thought. Yes, Rick Craig is on this line.
Is this Rick Craig I'm talking to? Is this Rick Craig I'm talking to?
The one and the only.
Man, let me tell you a funny story. I was looking on my Facebook, and I thought it was a cartoon character of you on my Facebook, and I got to looking, that's really your head, right?
hey, I'm here. I'm glad that you're here. Zane, do you know who's here?
I'm glad I'm here.
I'm not sure. Who is this?
This is Joe Bailey.
Well, let me give him a proper introduction. Can I do that?
Excellent. I would love that.
You know who it is. You might not know who it is.
One of the youngest heavyweight champions in the history of the business.
No, actually, the youngest world heavyweight champion.
The youngest heavyweight champion in the history of this business. He was a member of the FBI, Zane.
Excellent.
He tag teamed with our friend Tracy Smothers.
I have a good suspicion I know who this is.
Well, it's none other than Wildfire himself, Tommy Rich. How you doing, Tommy?
What's up, brother? You doing all right?
I'm doing awesome.
Awesome. I'm doing awesome too, then.
Well, the Morning Star Will Huckabee is not going to be on until later, so he's probably going to miss us talking. The Morning Star said he met you a few weeks back, Tommy. What do you recall in your conversations with the NWA Continental Champion Morning Star Will Huckabee?
Who?
Huh.
Got me mixed up. Maybe I ain't who you think I am.
Huh.
Did you ask would I be your Huckleberry? Is that what you said?
No, sir, Huckleberry, that's the one, yes.
Huckleberry. I don't know. I've seen him. I might know, man. I've been down. I thought I was fixing to die. I did an 11-day tour. And I've been in bed for a week sicker than a dog. And if I'd have been sicker than a horse, they took me around back and shot me. That's how sick I was. But I'm good now.
Tommy, let's talk a little bit about your career because you've had a really wild ride. What got you, I guess, in the first place, even interested in being a professional wrestler?
The girls, man. What are you talking about? Back then, we used to have girls that come to matches, not boys. Yeah. I used to go to wrestling matches in Nashville, Tennessee with Jerry Jarrett and Eddie Marlin. And I'd see all them pretty, gals grabbing on them. I'm not talking about no boys. I'm talking about people pretty gals now. And I knew that was the life I wanted to live.
And how young were you when you started, Tommy?
I was, when I started working out for Jerry Jarrett, I was 17. I used to work on his farm. And then I started actually wrestling when I was 18.
And you pretty much touched your teeth, for the most part, down in the Georgia territory, didn't you, Tommy? Between hitting Georgia and Bama.
Yeah, I was one of the lucky ones, man. I Southern born, and Bob Armstrong would say, Southern born, Southern bred, and when I die, I'm going to be Southern dead. Yes, sir, I am. I got to ride, and I didn't have to ride from none of the territories you had to do 500-mile trips either. I was very fortunate. I did Continental, I did Smoky Mountain. Of course, Georgia was my home. Tennessee, they had some pretty long trips there, but they were cool too. It wasn't too bad. I mean, the boys in Louisiana and out of Texas, they did some miles, bro. These boys, they don't even know what miles are.
This is the Undisputed Wrestling Show. We have the great pleasure of talking to Tommy Wildfire Rich tonight. And Tommy, when you were in Georgia, you were pretty much responsible, one of the main responsibilities, I should say, on making that promotion on fire and really getting the NWA hot and heated down there in the Georgia territory. You know, you had yourself in there. Kevin Sullivan was there with his guys. The Road Warriors were there. It was just a wild time in Georgia wrestling. Buzz Sawyer, obviously. What
oh yeah, I was
remember,
there.
I guess?
I was there. I was there.
The best things you
I was
remember?
there before then. I was there before then.
Sure.
You know, the first night I went to, I'll tell you a story. The first night I went to Atlanta, Georgia from Tennessee. I was 18. I wrestled at Atlanta City Auditorium. Guess who I drew? Abdullah the Butcher. Beat me in 30 seconds, busted my head open, and Tony Atlas saved me. Judge said, call me if you don't think it's going to work out. Brother, I wanted to call him so bad right then, but I didn't. I sucked it up. I stayed. I fought my butt off. And Tony Atlas and me become the first salt and pepper tag team of Georgia, of the South, period. You know, we were the first to wear the belts and unite them. And then one year, after the Butcher told me that night, he said, kid, I'll give it back to you one day. And I thought, yeah, right, Big Daddy. Anyway, a couple other choice words I was using to myself. I wasn't saying them to him, actually. But I was stacking them in my mind. You know what I'm saying? I was really probably scared to say something to him. But anyway, I remember Tommy one night, while him and Daniel Ole Anderson got in a fight, and Ole fired Wahoo. And that dude was supposed to wrestle on Thanksgiving night. They was hanging from the rafters, brother. And Ole asked that dude who wanted to wrestle. And he said, give me the kid. Ole said, everybody call me the kid. Of course, now they call me the old man. But anyway, that's another day, another story. But, you know, nobody thought I could make it to be an old man, so that's a blessing. So, anyway, we got out of that race. I raced. He told me, he said, remember I told you I was going to give it back to you, kid? And that was a year or so ago. I thought, dang, he didn't forget. Anyway, we went out there and tore that building down. He weighed 450 pounds. I followed him up and down the bleachers. He said, follow me, kid. You weren't supposed to get outside the barricade. We did. Anyway, I figured I was going to get fired after that anyway. Because he said, stay in the thing. But anyway, we followed him down there, got back in the ring. Edward probably went about 450, and I was probably went about 200, 210. He said, slam me, kid. I said, huh? He said, slam me, kid. I thought, oh, yeah, here comes the big joke now. Little blonde-headed boy going there to pick Big Abby up, and he ain't going to move. Brother, I grabbed him, picked him up, slammed him, and that whole building went, ooh, you could just hear it. And after that, Tommy Wildfire Riff was on the march, bro.
I'm telling you. And like we were saying, you know, Georgia wrestling was just, it was what got the NWA into prominence and big things on television coming in the early 80s. And it was just a wild time down there. And you had that incredible feud with Buzz Sawyer. Tell everybody about what that experience was like. You guys battled for a few years, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, about 2 years we ran. About probably the longest feud in wrestling history, probably. Of course, Hell in the Cell that they do up in New York, Buzz Sawyer may create it. You know, I mean, man, but it was a fight every night with Buzz. You know, I just remember, you know, it was a fight with him every night. We go 30, 45 minutes every night. Every night, you know. I don't know if folks would watch 30, 45 minutes a day or not, but I guarantee you, me and Buzz Sawyer back in the day would have given him a run for that money.
What about, Tommy, your recollection? Like I said, we talked about the Road Warriors very briefly. They obviously got very hot down in Georgia. Dick Roberts was down there. I mean, you guys had some pretty good talent there.
Oh, the cream of the crop, and I got to wrestle them all. And if I wasn't wrestling, because I'd do singles for a while. So what kept me so good in Atlanta is I did, you know, I would do my single gig for a while, and then Walter McDaniels, somebody would come in, or Ricky Martel, and I'd team up with them, and I'd run the tag thing against Ole and Minnesota Red Crew, Ole and Gene, or Ole and Ivan, you know. So my, you know, my stuff was all good. The only thing is that old prick Ole Anderson, he wanted to fire me when I first got there, and Mr. Barnett, he wouldn't let him. So anyway, after I got over, then I was Ole's star. But Mr. Barnett, a gentleman and a scholar, and a very good businessman. God bless him.
So, Tommy, what do you remember about the young Road Warriors?
Well, they come fresh from Minnesota out of bar bouncing and would beat the daylights out of everybody. They didn't even know how to wrestle. And, but they draw
Could
money.
you even tell Tommy? I'm sorry. Could you even tell Tommy that they end up being big stars? Because obviously they were big men, kind of right before the bodybuilder types, I guess.
Yeah, well, they wasn't really bodybuilder types. I mean, they worked out, but they were characters. So everybody back in the day, you take Baron Von Raschke, Chiller Carl Cox, Blackjack Mulligan, Minnesota Wrecking Crew, they were all characters. It wasn't a gimmick somebody put on them. That was their persona. We were who we were. That was our everyday life. It wasn't something, and we went to school and they said, well, we're going to do this with you and we're going to do this with you. We were who we were.
And obviously they carved out their own legacy in the entire wrestling industry, and they were, a lot of people said they were a gimmick, but I think they lived who they were too. So it was really interesting to see how that ended up turning out.
Bruiser Brody.
So
one of the greatest,
Tommy, Yeah. So Tommy, what prompted a young Wildfire to become a heavyweight champion at such a young age and beating Harley Race for the World Heavyweight Championship? I guess, number one, what went through your mind when they told you were going to go over the legendary Harley Race? And two, looking back on it now, was it great for your career, or did you think it was detrimental having it that early?
Oh, I think it was great. I mean, people decide the 7-day wonder, whatever they want to say. Get your name listed with that group of fellas that was in there. You know what I'm saying? Because I've done better with it. If I had been 19 or 20, whatever it was, and had more responsibility, then maybe I would have done better. But you got to beat the greatest wrestler of all time, and I'm talking about Harley Race, bar none, the greatest technician in that ring I've ever seen in my life. And I've wrestled a bunch of men. And Harley Race, greatest champion they ever had. My